First contact in the stars. The Deep Space Research Station, Helios, hung like a silver thread against the backdrop of endless stars, its solar arrays glinting in the distant sunlight. Dr. Lyra Harrison stood at the observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the unusual energy readings flickering across her holographic display. After 15 years of searching the cosmos for signs of intelligent life, something had finally changed. "Dr. Harrison, you need to see this." Dr. Raj Patel's voice crackled through the station's comm system. "The signal's pattern has shifted." Lyra rushed to the main laboratory, her heart pounding against her ribs. The signal they'd been tracking for the past week had been unlike anything in their database, a complex sequence of quantum fluctuations that defied natural explanation. As she entered the lab, the air felt electric with possibility. The holographic display showed a cascading pattern of light, pulsing with an almost organic rhythm. "It's beautiful," she whispered, reaching out to manipulate the 3D projection. "And definitely artificial." A violent shudder ran through the station, throwing both scientists off balance. Warning klaxons blared as emergency lights bathed the lab in crimson. "Unknown vessel approaching." The AI's mechanical voice announced, "Impact imminent." Lyra grabbed the console, steadying herself as she pulled up the external cameras. A sleek vessel, unlike any human craft, was decelerating rapidly toward their docking bay. Its hull bore the marks of weapons fire, and a trail of plasma leaked from its wounded engines. "Someone's running from something," Raj muttered, his fingers flying across the controls. "And they found us." The ship docked with surprising precision despite its damaged state. Security protocols initiated automatically, but Lyra knew they were largely meaningless against technology this advanced. She made a decision that would change the course of human history. "I'm going down there," she announced, already moving toward the airlock. "Lyra, wait," Raj called after her. "We should wait for security." But she was already gone, driven by a lifetime of wondering if humanity was alone in the universe. The docking bay was pressurized, and as she approached the alien vessel, its hull seemed to shimmer with an iridescent quality their cameras hadn't captured. A hatch opened with a soft hiss of equalizing pressure. Lyra's breath caught in her throat as a tall figure emerged. Humanoid, but clearly not human. Its skin had a subtle crystalline quality, and its eyes held an inner light that spoke of evolutionary paths far removed from Earth's. The being staggered, clearly wounded. Without thinking, Lyra rushed forward to help, catching them before they could fall. Up close, she could see the intricate patterns that seemed to flow beneath their skin, like circuits made of light. "I am Theron," the alien spoke in perfect English, though their lips didn't move exactly as the words formed. "And I bring warning of a storm that will consume your world." Lyra helped Theron to the medical bay, her mind racing with questions. The alien's wound was unlike anything she'd seen. A tear in both physical matter and what appeared to be energy itself. As she worked to stabilize them, Theron began to explain. "The Nexus Dominion comes," they said, each word heavy with urgency. "They consume worlds, strip them of resources and life, and move on. They followed me here, seeking what I protect." Theron's hand moved to a crystal embedded in their chest, pulsing with the same rhythm as the signal they'd been tracking. "What is it?" Lyra asked, fascinated despite the gravity of the situation. "Hope," Theron replied. "The key to preventing their conquest of this galaxy, but I cannot protect it alone anymore." Their luminescent eyes fixed on Lyra, with an intensity that made her shiver. "Your world stands at a crossroads, Dr. Harrison. The choices you make in the coming days will determine not only Earth's fate, but that of countless civilizations across the stars." Before Lyra could respond, the station's sensors screamed a new warning. Multiple objects were dropping out of faster-than-light travel, their signatures massive and ominous. The Dominion had arrived. Theron struggled to stand, their crystalline features hardening with determination. "They cannot be allowed to take the key. Your species shows remarkable potential, creativity, resilience, compassion. It is why I chose this place. Will you help me protect it? Lyra looked at the approaching vessels, then back at this wounded warrior who had crossed the stars to find them. Her entire life had been spent looking for proof of intelligent life beyond Earth. Now that proof had arrived, along with the greatest threat humanity. Yes, she said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Tell me what we need to do. Behind them, Raj burst into the medical bay, his eyes wide at the sight of Theron. Lyra, the approaching ships, they're like nothing we've ever seen. They're not slowing down. Theron's expression grew grave. The Dominion never slows down. They only consume. They turned to Lyra, the light beneath their skin pulsing faster. We have very little time to prepare your world for what comes next. The first impacts against the station's shields sent tremors through the deck plating. Above them, the vast ships of the Nexus Dominion began to darken the stars themselves, heralding the beginning of humanity's greatest challenge. And in that moment, as alarms blared and chaos erupted around them, Lyra realized that everything she thought she knew about humanity's place in the universe was about to change forever. The price of compassion. The Helios station's emergency lights cast shifting shadows across Theron's crystalline features as they worked with inhuman speed at the station's primary control interface. Their fingers, glowing with bioluminescent energy, danced across the holographic displays, upgrading Earth's primitive defense systems with knowledge born from centuries of interstellar warfare. Your technology is adaptable, Theron observed, their melodic voice tinged with surprise. Like your species. Lyra monitored the approaching Dominion ships on the main display, their massive forms blotting out more stars with each passing moment. Tell me more about them, she pressed, dividing her attention between the tactical displays and the fascinating being beside her. What are we really facing? Theron's movements paused, their luminescent eyes dimming slightly. The Dominion began as we did. Explorers, seekers of knowledge. But they found something in the dark between galaxies, an ancient technology that offered power beyond imagination. It corrupted them. The alien skin rippled with patterns that seemed to reflect their emotional state. Now they seek to remake all life in their image, to create a perfect, unified existence under their control. And that crystal you carry? Lyra asked, watching as Raj coordinated with Earth's rapidly mobilizing defense forces below. The last key to preventing their transcendence, Theron explained. With it, they could instantly connect to and control every sentient mind in the galaxy. Without it, they must conquer worlds one by one, giving others time to resist, to prepare. A proximity alert blared through the station. The first wave of Dominion fighters had broken through the outer defense perimeter. Raj's voice crackled over the comm. Multiple breaches detected in lower decks. They're boarding. Theron's expression hardened. Your people are not ready for this fight. The Dominion's neural weapons will overwhelm their minds, turn them against each other. We must. An explosion rocked the station, cutting off their words. Through the observation window, Lyra watched in horror as the first Dominion troops emerged from their boarding vessels. They moved with mechanical precision, their armor seeming to shift and flow like liquid metal, adapting to the environment around them. Dr. Harrison. Theron's voice took on an urgent tone. I must share something with you. My people have a gift. We can create neural bonds, share our consciousness with compatible species. It would give you access to my knowledge, my abilities. But the process is irreversible, and not without risk. Another explosion, closer this time. Screams echoed through the corridors as the station's security teams engaged the invaders. What kind of risk? Lyra asked, already suspecting she knew her answer regardless. The bond goes both ways. My pain becomes yours. My enemies become yours. And if one dies, Theron let the implication hang in the air. Raj's voice came through again, desperate now. They're not human anymore. The troops, their eyes, something's controlling them. Lyra looked at the tactical display, watching as more Dominion ships emerged from faster-than-light travel. Earth's primitive defenses wouldn't last an hour against this level of technology. She thought of her home below, of billions of innocent lives about to face an enemy they couldn't possibly understand. "Do it," she said firmly, turning to face Theron. "Show me how to fight them." Theron stepped forward, placing their crystalline hands on either side. The connection blazed to life between them. Lyra gasped as centuries of memories flooded her consciousness, stars she had never seen, worlds beyond imagination, the devastating march of the Dominion across the galaxy. But more than just memories transferred. She felt her consciousness expanding, accessing new ways of perceiving reality itself. When the connection stabilized, Lyra opened eyes that now held the same inner light as Theron's. She could feel the station's systems, as if they were extensions of her own body, could sense the Dominion soldiers as dark voids in the fabric of spacetime. "The neural link is complete," Theron said, supporting her as she adjusted to the overwhelming sensations. "Now we can truly fight back." Together, they reached out through the station's systems, their combined consciousness working in perfect synchronization. The Helios defenses began to adapt, incorporating principles of quantum mechanics that humanity wouldn't have discovered for centuries. But the price of their connection became immediately apparent. Lyra felt Theron's old wounds as if they were her own, understood the bone-deep exhaustion of their long flight from the Dominion. And deeper still, she felt their desperate hope that humanity might succeed where other species had failed. "They're breaking through," Rad shouted through the comm. "We need to evacuate." Lyra accessed the station's internal sensors through her new abilities, watching the Dominion forces advance with horrifying efficiency. Each human they encountered was quickly subdued, their minds overwhelmed by the neural weapons, turning them into puppets of the collective. "We cannot let them take the station," Theron said, their thoughts now intertwined with Lyra's. "The data in these computers, your world's weaknesses, strengths, everything they need to begin their conquest. It must be destroyed." Lyra understood what had to be done, the knowledge flowing between them making the solution clear. Together, they began to overload the station's quantum core, preparing to destroy everything rather than let it fall into enemy hands. "Raj," Lyra called through the comm, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "Get everyone to the escape pods. We'll buy you time." As the evacuation began, Lyra and Theron stood together at the heart of the dying station, their shared consciousness reaching out to slow the Dominion's advance. Through their bond, Lyra felt Theron's grim satisfaction. The real war for Earth's survival was just beginning, but at least now humanity had a fighting chance. The Dominion troops breached the final door just as the quantum core reached critical levels. Lyra looked into their empty eyes, saw the twisted reflection of what humanity might become under their control, and knew with absolute certainty that she had made the right choice. "Ready?" she asked Theron, though the word was barely necessary now that their thoughts flowed as one. "Together," Theron replied, their joint consciousness already reaching for the emergency teleporter controls. The station erupted behind them as they made their escape, taking with it the first wave of the Dominion's invasion force. But in the depths of space, more ships were arriving, darkening the sky above Earth. The real battle was about to begin. Hunter and hunted. The experimental shuttle screamed through Earth's atmosphere, its hull glowing red-hot as Lyra guided it with her newly enhanced consciousness. Through their bond, Theron helped her navigate the unfamiliar neural interface, their shared awareness extending through every system of the small craft. Behind them, 3 Dominion pursuit vessels cut through the sky like obsidian arrows, their weapons leaving trails of ionized air. The neural link allowed Lyra to feel their presence as dark distortions in spacetime, hunting them with relentless determination. The Australian outback, Theron communicated through their bond. "My ship contained more than just the key. There is something there that could help us." Lyra banked the shuttle hard, skimming the ocean's surface to confuse the Dominion's tracking systems. The neural connection let her process information at incredible speeds, performing maneuvers that would have been impossible for a normal human pilot. "What aren't you telling me?" she asked, though the question was almost rhetorical now that their minds were linked. She could feel Theron's reluctance, the weight of secrets carried across light years. "Your world is not as isolated as your people believe," Theron revealed as they dodged another barrage of energy weapons. "Long ago, my people visited Earth. We left safeguards." The implications hit Lyra like a physical force. "You've been watching us, protecting us." Guiding you, subtly. Humanity's rapid technological advancement was not entirely natural. We saw your potential, but also the danger you posed to yourselves. The safeguards were meant to prevent premature self-destruction. Their shuttle shuddered as a Dominion shot grazed their shields. Lyra pushed the craft lower, threading through deep canyons as the red earth of the outback sprawled before them. Through their connection, she felt Theron's growing excitement. They were getting close to something. There, Theron's consciousness merged with hers, guiding her hands on the controls. They sat down beside a seemingly ordinary rock formation, but Lyra's enhanced senses could detect something humming beneath the ancient stone. They barely had time to exit the shuttle before the Dominion ships appeared overhead, their dark hulls blotting out the sun. As energy weapons began to rain down, Theron pressed their crystalline hand against the rock face. Patterns of light spread from their touch, and a hidden entrance appeared. Inside, Theron pulled her through just as the ground where they had stood was vaporized. They ran through a tunnel that lit up with each step, ancient technology recognizing Theron's presence. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber that took Lyra's breath away. Through both her normal vision and her enhanced perception, she saw a massive structure of crystalline technology, pulsing with the same energy that flowed through Theron. "A nexus point," Theron explained, moving quickly to an ancient console. "One of many we left across Earth. They form a planetary defense network, but it has lain dormant for millennia." "Why activate it now?" Lyra asked, though she was beginning to understand through their shared consciousness. "Because the Dominion found us sooner than expected. Earth was meant to have another century to develop naturally before we revealed ourselves." Theron's fingers danced across the console, awakening systems that had slumbered since before human civilization began. "Now we must accelerate the process." The chamber shook as the Dominion forces began to dig their way down. Through their bond, Lyra felt Theron's growing concern. "The network is not fully charged. It needs time." "Time we don't have," Lyra observed, watching as cracks appeared in the chamber's ceiling. She could feel the Dominion soldiers above them, their corrupted consciousness pressing against her mind like an oil slick. Theron turned to her, their luminescent eyes intense. "There is another way. The crystal I carry. It contains not just the key to preventing the Dominion's transcendence, but also the combined consciousness of my people's greatest warriors. If we merge it with the nexus point, it would power up the network," Lyra finished, understanding through their link. "But you would lose your connection to your people's memories." "Not lose," Theron corrected. "Transform. The knowledge would become part of Earth's defense system, and through our bond, you would retain access to it. But the process would be dangerous. The amount of energy involved." The ceiling buckled as Dominion weapons breached the outer layers. Time was running out. "Do it," Lyra said firmly. "Earth is worth the risk." Theron nodded, removing the crystal from their chest. The chamber filled with blinding light as they approached the nexus point. Through their bond, Lyra felt the immense energy building, the accumulated knowledge of an ancient civilization preparing to merge with Earth's hidden defenses. The Dominion forces broke through just as Theron pressed the crystal into the nexus point. Energy exploded through the chamber, and Lyra felt every moment of Theron's pain through their connection. The crystal's power surged through the planetary network, awakening dormant technology across the globe. When the light faded, Lyra saw that Theron had changed. Their crystalline form was dimmer, more organic, but their eyes still held that inner light. The Dominion soldiers had been thrown back by the energy surge, but more would come. What now? Lyra asked, helping Theron stand. Through their bond, she felt their grim determination. Now we teach your people how to use their inheritance. The Dominion will not stop until they have conquered Earth or been destroyed. The real war begins here. Above them, the sky filled with more Dominion ships, their dark forms challenging the ancient defenses that were only beginning to awaken. But for the first time since their arrival, Lyra felt hope. Through their neural link, she sensed Theron's approval of her optimism. Earth might be the Dominion's latest target, but with the combined knowledge of two civilizations and the strength of their bond, they had a fighting chance. The hunted were about to become the hunters. The ultimate sacrifice. Cities around the world lit up with ancient power as Earth's hidden defense network awakened. Through their neural link, Lyra and Theron coordinated with military forces globally, teaching them to interface with technology that had lain dormant beneath their feet for millennia. From their command center in the Australian Outback facility, Lyra watched holographic displays showing the Dominion's invasion forces engaging Earth's newly awakened defenses. Crystal spires had erupted from the ground at strategic points around the planet, generating shields that the Dominion's weapons couldn't easily penetrate. They're adapting, Theron observed, their diminished forms still radiating determination. Through their bond, Lyra felt their concern. The Dominion's ships were already beginning to modify their attack patterns, probing for weaknesses in the ancient defense system. How much time do we have? Lyra asked, though she could feel the answer through their connection. Hours, perhaps. The Dominion's strength lies in their ability to analyze and overcome any defense. We've surprised them, but they will find a way through. The neural link they shared filled with images of other worlds that had fallen to the Dominion, civilizations that had fought bravely but ultimately succumbed to the relentless assault. Lyra pushed back against the memories, focusing on the present. Then we need to strike first, she said, accessing the facility's deeper systems through their enhanced connection. Show me everything the defense network can do. Together, they dove into the ancient systems, their joined consciousness exploring capabilities that the Centauri had built into Earth's protection grid. They found weapon systems that could target ships in orbit, planetary-scale energy fields, and something else, something hidden deeper in the code. The Crucible Protocol, Theron whispered, their mental voice tight with recognition. My people created it as a last resort, but never had the chance to use it. Through their bond, Lyra understood what the protocol was designed to do. It would use Earth's entire defense network as a massive energy conductor, channeling power through the crystal spires to create a quantum disruption field. Any advanced technology caught within the field would be temporarily disabled. We could shut down their entire fleet, Lyra realized, hope rising. Give Earth's forces a chance to fight back on equal terms. But Theron's consciousness pressed against hers, sharing the protocol's true cost. The energy required. It would burn out the entire defense network. Everything my people built to protect Earth would be destroyed. And the strain on the quantum field would. They didn't need to finish. Through their bond, Lyra felt the truth. Activating the Crucible Protocol would likely kill them both, their neural link making them particularly vulnerable to the quantum disruption. A massive explosion rocked the facility. On their displays, they watched as the first of Earth's crystal spires fell to concentrated Dominion fire. More ships were arriving in orbit, their dark forms blotting out the stars. We're out of options, Lyra said, her voice steady despite the fear she knew Theron could feel through their bond. Earth dies today, if we do nothing. Theron's luminescent eyes met hers, filled with a mixture of sorrow and pride. Your species continues to surprise me. Such courage in the face of impossible odds. Through their neural link, memories flowed between them. Theron's centuries of fighting the Dominion, Lyra's lifetime of looking to the stars, the moment they'd found each other. Together. Lyra asked, reaching for the controls that would initiate the Crucible protocol. Together, Theron confirmed, their consciousness merging completely with hers as they began the activation sequence. Energy surged through the planetary network, making the crystal spires glow with blinding intensity. The Dominion ships in orbit noticed the power buildup too late. As Lyra and Theron channeled the massive energies through their neural link, they felt the protocol taking effect. The quantum disruption field expanded outward from Earth like a silent shockwave. Dominion ships began to fall from orbit, their advanced technology rendered useless. Through the pain of maintaining the protocol, Lyra and Theron watched as humanity seized its chance, conventional weapons engaging the now vulnerable invasion force. But the strain was becoming unbearable. Lyra felt Theron's consciousness beginning to fade, their shared pain reaching impossible levels as the quantum disruption tore at the fabric of their neural link. "Stay with me," she pleaded, both mentally and aloud, as more crystal spires exploded from the energy overload. Always, Theron's mental voice whispered, growing weaker. "You have given me something worth dying for, a future worth protecting." The facility around them began to collapse as the protocol reached its climax. Through their fading bond, they shared one last burst of emotion. Love, pride, hope for Earth's future. Then the quantum disruption field reached its peak, and everything went white. The last thing Lyra saw through their shared vision was Earth's forces turning the tide against the fallen Dominion ships. Then darkness took them both, their consciousnesses still linked in their final moments. But sometimes, endings are just beginnings in disguise. Beyond the stars, consciousness returned slowly, like light filtering through deep water. Lyra opened her eyes to find herself in a military hospital, the white ceiling above her seeming to pulse with remembered energy. Her mind felt strangely empty, the absence of Theron's consciousness leaving an ache worse than her physical injuries. "Welcome back, Dr. Harrison." Admiral Chen stood at her bedside, his uniform bearing the marks of recent battle. "You've been unconscious for 3 weeks." "Theron?" she asked, her voice rough from disuse. But she already knew the answer. The silence in her mind told her everything. "We found no trace of them in the facility ruins," the Admiral confirmed gently. "But what you both did, you saved Earth." The Dominion fleet was completely defeated once their technology failed. Lyra closed her eyes, feeling phantom echoes of their neural link. The memories they had shared remained, fragments of Theron's centuries of existence mixing with her own experiences. But the living connection was gone. "There's something else," Admiral Chen continued, his tone changing. "The quantum disruption had some unexpected effects. We're still finding them." He helped her to a window overlooking the Sydney harbor. What she saw made her breath catch. Crystal formations had begun growing from the ruins of the ancient defense network, but they were different from before. These crystals pulsed with a new kind of energy, neither fully Centaurian nor purely Earth-based technology. "They're appearing worldwide," the Admiral explained. "And they're evolving, merging with our technology, creating something new. Our scientists think it's a combination of the Crucible Protocol's effects and something in Earth's biosphere." Through her remaining connection to Theron's memories, Lyra understood what was happening. "The defense network wasn't destroyed," she whispered. "It transformed. Earth is creating its own defense system now, learning from what was left behind." "That's not all," Chen said, triggering a holographic display. "We're detecting quantum signatures from deep space, hundreds of them, approaching at faster than light speeds. But they're not Dominion." Lyra studied the signatures, recognition flooding through her. "The Centauri Alliance," she breathed. "Theron's people. They felt the quantum disruption. It must have acted like a beacon. "They're requesting contact," Chen confirmed. "And they're specifically asking for you. Something about you being a bridge between our species now." Lyra touched the window, watching the new crystal formations grow. She could feel them at the edge of her consciousness. Not the same as her link with Theron, but something new, something evolving. Through Theron's memories, she understood what this meant for humanity's future. "The Dominion will return," she said, turning to face the Admiral. "They always do. But next time, we'll be ready. Earth is changing, becoming something they've never faced before. A hybrid of human innovation and Centauri wisdom." A month later, Lyra stood on the deck of humanity's first hybrid starship, its hull a combination of traditional metals and living crystal. As Earth's ambassador to the Centauri Alliance, she would help guide humanity's first steps into a larger galaxy. The ship's crystal core pulsed with familiar energy, and for a moment, she felt something brush against her consciousness. A touch she thought she'd lost forever. Through the hybrid technology, she sensed a presence that felt impossibly familiar. "Theron," she whispered, hardly daring to hope. The response came not in words, but in feelings: love, pride, hope for the future. The quantum disruption hadn't destroyed their bond. It had transformed it, spreading it through the very technology they had sacrificed themselves to create. Theron's consciousness had become part of Earth's new defense system, and through it, they would never truly be apart. As the hybrid ship prepared for its first faster-than-light jump, Lyra felt the weight of history upon her. The Dominion had sought to conquer Earth, but instead they had catalyzed something unprecedented: the birth of a new kind of civilization, one that combined the best of humanity and the Centauri. The stars beckoned, no longer distant and unreachable. Through the ship's crystal viewport, Lyra watched Earth recede, its surface now glittering with the network of hybrid technology that would protect it. The planet looked different now, transformed by its brush with extinction into something stronger, something unique in the galaxy. "Ready for the jump, Ambassador Harrison?" her helmsman asked. Lyra smiled, feeling Theron's presence in the ship's systems, their shared consciousness now part of something greater than either of them had imagined. Humanity would face many challenges in the years to come, but they would face them together, transformed by love that transcended species and space itself. "Ready," she replied, both to her crew and to the presence that would always be with her. "Let's show the galaxy what humanity can become." The ship jumped, leaving behind an Earth forever changed, heading toward a future where the lines between human and alien, between technology and consciousness, between love and transformation, had begun to blur. The galaxy would never be the same, and somewhere in the quantum fields that connected everything, Theron's consciousness smiled, knowing that their sacrifice had led not to an ending, but to a new beginning, one that would echo across the stars for generations to come.